It's 2025 and there are lots of people streaming and recording their footage for tutorial videos, gameplays, or just because they want to.
Just do it!
And over a year ago I made a video testing 3 different codecs on the RX 7900 XTX to see how they performed quality-wise, at several resolutions and several video bitrates. Now AMD released their new RDNA4 GPUs, the RX 9000 series, and one of the claims they made that somehow went really unnoticed was about the enhanced media engine with what they call AI video filtering, claiming that at least the H.264 codec, also known as AVC, was vastly improved on RDNA4. And there are several factors that are crucial to the recording quality: the video resolution, the video bitrate, the codec of course, and the improvements done by those same brands like AMD and Nvidia on the same codec. And that's exactly why Nvidia tended to have better quality on the recording side, even if they were using the same codec as AMD, in this case H.264. But after all, what is a codec? But before that, who's today's sponsor?
Today's video sponsor is GVG Mall,
bringing you lots of software deals like Windows 10, Windows 11, Office 2019 or 2021 with a new Windows 11 design, and for all of these you can use my SKG discount code for 30% off, getting a Windows 11 serial key for $22 and a Windows 10 one for only $15. Then use the key on your Windows settings and you'll have an activated system. So what's a codec? A codec, which is short for coder-decoder, is a device or software algorithm that encodes or decodes digital media files to make them easier to store and transmit. It works by compressing the data using the encoder and then decompressing it using the decoder. This means that the more efficient a codec is, the less data it will lose compared to what you're seeing on your monitor. Hence why with the same exact settings, AV1 will deliver you a much better image quality, because it is a newer, improved and more efficient codec than AVC, or H.264 as it's called as well. And as I stated, the codec is very important for the video quality, of course, because the codec is the algorithm that kind of handles the transmitting of the data, so the better the algorithm, the less data you will lose. But maybe more important than that is the video bitrate. Because you can have a video running at 1080p, 1440p or 4K or even 9000K, doesn't really matter. The higher the video bitrate you choose, the more information you're allowing to be stored in your video. And that's exactly why resolution alone doesn't really matter, because if you're recording your video at 4K, but then you don't really have enough video bitrate to fill those same pixels, basically to give information for those pixels, you'll have a pixelated experience. And that's exactly why the higher the resolution or the higher the video frame rate, the higher the video bitrate needs to be, because if you have more pixels, you need more information to fill those pixels, and if you have more FPS, more frames per second, you also need more information to fill those frames per second. And now you know the basics of how recording quality works. But are RDNA4 GPUs really bringing better recording quality with the new enhanced media engine? Will the RX 9070 XT with the same recording settings as the RX 7900 XTX deliver better recording quality? Firstly, I wanted to show you the difference in between codecs, and as you can see, with the same exact resolution and video bitrate on the same graphics card, AV1 just delivers much better image quality. I mean, of course this is only 2 Mbps, which is borderline visual pollution, but still, AV1 is delivering a much clearer and more defined picture, taking away a lot of pixelation. Let's watch a bit more and remember that you can stop and analyze for yourself. Now we're testing with 8 Mbps, and this is a bit over the standard for some platforms like Twitch that are usually locked at 6 Mbps, and in this case, since both codecs have a lot more information to work with, the difference isn't that big. And while AV1 tends to handle the lining and small details better, like here in the top leading to less pixelation, it also tends to kind of over smooth some things, hence why the H.264 is delivering better texture detail in this case. But well, let's see a bit more. And this is exactly what I was talking about. If you look at the box in the right, it looks much sharper with AV1, and the same applies to the rocks in the floor. But if you look at the pillar in the middle where the city was shot, the textures just look much sharper on the H.264 footage, which is kind of interesting. Let's watch a bit more and remember that you can always pause the video yourself and look for the differences. Instead of 1080p, I am now jumping to 4K and with an extremely low bitrate for this resolution to see how both codecs handle things. And if you look at the audience in the left, you can see how much more information AV1 was able to retain. And if you look at the right, with the H.264, most polls completely get mixed with the fence, while with AV1 we can distinguish them almost individually. Overall, quite better. And I wanted to stop again on this part so you could see the massive difference we get here. Let's ignore how much better AV1 is at handling the clouds, for example, and look at the light posts in the back. With H.264, they're kind of a mess, with no definition whatsoever, while with AV1 we can see the lines pretty well defined again with the same exact settings. And we now know that AV1 delivers much better and much superior image quality when we're talking about lower video bitrates, and with higher video bitrates, while it still delivers generally better lining, better fine detail quality, let's call it that, it still has some issues with over smoothing that can lead to the loss of some specific details, like the textures on the walls and so on, so on, so on. After all, there's no such thing as perfect. And now that we know this, what about the same codec but on different GPUs? What about the recording quality of the 9070 XT versus the 7900 XTX with the same resolution, same video bit rates, same codec, and so on? Can the 9070 XT with its new enhanced media engine really deliver better quality, better recording quality than the previous generation? As stated before, we're now testing the same exact settings with the same codec but with different AMD GPUs, one RDNA3 and another one RDNA4. And again, we know 2 Mbps is borderline visual pollution even for 1080p, but we can see that the RX 9070 XT delivers slightly better results here, with generally less pixelation and with better details in things like the window in the right that looks considerably better with a newer GPU, and the cables in the top that look much better as well, having a pretty defined line instead of the pixelated mess that we see with the RX 7900 XTX. But I'll let you see a bit more for yourself. Still at 1080p but with 8 Mbps now, the RX 9070 XT still delivers better quality. That is seen when looking at the floor in the left, where the new card just delivers a sharper and more defined lining, and basically on everything else too. But that was just an example, of course, with a generally less pixelated image and better details on the walls as well. In this particular case, the difference in quality is very noticeable, with the RX 9070 XT showing much more detail on the walls, with a lot more brick details, for example, and especially on the door ahead. As expected by now, it is a considerably better experience. And as the video bitrate gets increased, the quality differences tend to be less and less, but at 15 Mbps, we can still see RDNA4 delivering better quality, with the ability to retain much more fine detail, like the floor, where the new card just delivers a better roughness, kind of that roughness that we have on sandy floors or something like that, while the older one delivers a big blur, and the same applies to the door, and to the other parts of the video as well. Another small difference that can be easily seen here is the letter sharpness, letters that are much easier to read with the RX 9070 XT footage. I don't really know if you're able to see this with the YouTube compression, because it kind of messes the image quality, but you can even see that the knife's blade has better detail with the newer card. Quite nice. And finalizing with 40 Mbps, the difference is basically null now since we have more than enough bitrate at 1080p for the codec improvements to be noticeable. There might be improvements of course, but they're so small that they won't really be noticeable in real world scenarios like watching the video normally.
Flight following. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Zurich approach.
And now we're testing 1440p instead of 1080p, and we're still pushing 2 Mbps, which is extremely low for this resolution for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, even though it is kind of a slower game, so the bitrate doesn't really need to be as much as for a fast-paced game, but in here the difference is very noticeable. While we have a pixelated mess with both cards, the RX 9070 XT delivers much better details when looking at the forest part in the front. With the RX 7900 XTX, the trees, the buildings, the horizon itself is just a complete blurred out mess, or are just a complete blurred out mess. And while the RX 9070 XT doesn't deliver that good quality per se, it is able to maintain much more detail than the previous generation. And in movement, things get even better for the RX 9070 XT. Let's watch.
Squawk 0014, Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra. Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra, radar contact 3 miles southeast of Zurich, 2,600 feet. QNH 101 tree. X-ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk, 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu, 2,900 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra. Zurich approach. Squawk tree 122.
With 8 Mbps, both cards are now delivering very close image quality because this game is kind of slow-paced, as I stated before, but the RX 9070 XT is still the best choice, delivering slightly better fine detail. But now, not by that much. In movement though, you'll be able to see that RDNA4 GPUs handle things way better here.
Squawk tree 122, Cessna X-ray
contact 3 miles southeast of Zurich, 2,600 feet. QNH1013.
Roger, Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra. Approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk, 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu, 2,900 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra, approach. Squawk 02.
At 15 Mbps and with a slow-paced game such as this one, the differences are even harder to notice, but you can still see that the RX 9070 XT at least delivers better sharpness overall, and that can be seen when looking at the houses below, for example the buildings. Nothing really relevant though.
Squawk 0274, Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra. Radar contact 3 miles southeast of Zurich, 2,600 feet.
Zurich approach. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk, 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu, 2,900 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra. Zurich approach. Squawk 7601.
As for 40 Mbps, the differences seen before completely fade away and we finally have the two cards delivering the same quality in terms of video recording. Although you can still see that the RX 9070 XT delivers a slightly sharper image, but that won't really be noticeable by most people, to be honest.
Squawk 7601, Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra. Radar contact 3 miles southeast of Zurich, 2,600 feet. QNH1013.
And now we're going to an even more extreme scenario, a faster paced game at 4K and only 2 Mbps, which is insanely low for 1440p, let alone 4K. Here we don't really see many differences as both images are visual pollution of course, but let's watch a bit more I guess. In this particular frame, I believe that the only difference seen here is really the text details that on the RX 9070 XT are better, making things easier to read. But honestly, besides that, there aren't really many differences due to such a low video bitrate. With 8 Mbps the differences are a bit more noticeable now, with the trees in the back getting considerably more detail on the RX 9070 XT, that also delivers better text quality, and overall better fine detail as well. Look at the Lamborghini letters or the logo for example. I don't really know if you can see this on YouTube again due to YouTube's compression, but the logo is much sharper with the RDNA4 GPU. And the same happens for the stickers on top of the car. Let's watch a bit more. By the way, if you look at the sky when moving, this might be the only part where the RX 9070 XT shows a bit more pixelated image. And at 15 Mbps you would think that the difference would get smaller, but not really. The RX 9070 XT is still delivering a sharper image, but most importantly, way better finer details. Looking at the lamp posts up front, for example, you can see that the lines here are pretty well defined on the RX 9070 XT, but a complete pixelated mess on the RX 7900 XTX. And the same happens for other far objects like the Audi symbol ahead. Let's watch a movement comparison now. And this time, since we're talking about 4K and a faster paced game, we can see slight differences even at 40 Mbps. Looking at the crane on the right, you can see how much sharper it is with the RX 9070 XT, and the same happens for the Audi logo up in the front. And also in many other details, sorry. Interesting, I would say. And after all, AMD was right. Generally speaking, the RDNA4 cards will deliver better image quality than the RDNA3 ones, with the same resolution, same video bitrate, and same codec, because AMD improved the media engine, and of course they improved the algorithm most likely, and maybe with some AI features like the filterings and so on, in order to make the recording quality better on RDNA4. And with this being said, if you really want to know more about the topic, what about AV1? Was AV1 also improved on the RDNA4 cards compared to the RDNA3? Because previously we tested AVC or H.264 versus AV1 on RDNA4. But what about AV1 on RDNA3 versus RDNA4?
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk, 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu, 2,900 feet. Request flight following.
RDNA4 brought H.264 codec improvements for sure, but not only. With AV1 we're seeing how much better RDNA4 is performing with the same codec, same resolution and same video bitrate as the RX 7900 XTX, delivering a less pixelated image, like considerably less. Let's watch some more in movement.
Squawk 3336, Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra. Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, radar contact 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu, 2,700 feet. QNH 1013. Roger, Cessna X-Ray Golf. Zurich approach. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk, 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu.
And even though AV1 is considerably better on the RX 7900 XTX when compared to H.264, at lower video bit rates like 8 Mbps, it just works better on RDNA4. Looking at the forest part, for example, you can see how much more details the RX 9070 XT was able to keep. And you can see the same thing when looking at the buildings. RDNA4 just delivers a less blurred out video footage, and that's very good. But let's see some more.
Request flight following. Squawk 2651, Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra. Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, radar contact 3 miles southeast of approach. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk, 3 miles northeast of Lima Sierra Hotel Zulu, 2,900 feet. Request flight following.
As far as using 15 Mbps, quality looks way closer now, as it should, but footage recorded with the RX 9070 XT just looks generally better, as it is sharper and still more detailed. Not by much, of course, and at 30 or 40 Mbps the difference would most likely be unnoticeable. So let's watch a bit more and move to 4K.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra, approach. Squawk 7661.
Squawk 7661, Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, radar contact 3 miles southeast of Zurich.
At 4K we start with a mythical 2 Mbps. That looks like something that a dog ate, then pooped, ate again, and vomited in the end, just for another dog to come and eat it again. Although it must be said that there is an improvement quality-wise on the RX 9070 XT footage, especially when it comes to text clarity. The RDNA4 card delivers a less pixelated image overall, of course, and if you look at the Lamborghini letters or the stickers on top of the car, you can see that they are way easier to read on the footage from the RX 9070 XT. With 8 Mbps we simply have an enhancement of what we had before at 2 Mbps or with 2 Mbps, with the 9070 XT delivering an overall clearer and sharper image, but besides that, not much of a difference I would say. Let's watch both in movement. And at 15 Mbps we finally see the RX 7900 XTX being virtually on par with the RX 9070 XT in terms of recording quality. Differences are still there of course, but they are so small that we would be really need to kind of be nitpicking to find some differences. So while the H.264 showed gains even at 4K 15 Mbps, it seems that is not the case with AV1 codec, because it's a better codec overall. And well guys, as you saw, the quality kind of depends. There are some case scenarios where AV1 is better, some case scenarios where H.264 is better. RDNA3 versus RDNA3, I would say that AV1 is better in like 99% of scenarios. In RDNA4's case scenario, I would say that they improved the image quality quite a lot in terms of recording. AV1 is still generally better than H.264, especially and much better if we're talking about lower video bit rates like 2, 8, maybe 15 tops, but the improvement done on the new media engine was really great. And if we compare again versus the previous generation, same exact settings, RDNA4 just delivers much better recording quality, especially at lower video bit rates as you saw. And yeah, AMD was right and the recording quality definitely improved. Maybe the next step is testing RDNA4 versus the NVIDIA cards to see how they stand side by side in terms of recording quality. I guess that would be interesting in terms of H.264. I guess. Thank you very much for watching guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comment in the comment section, let me know if you have an NVIDIA card, let me know if you have an RDNA4 card or RDNA3 card. Let me know in the comment section if you tested the recording. If you think the recording is much better on RDNA4, leave a comment in the comment section. And of course, if you watched every part of the video side by side, leave a comment in the comment section as well, letting me and letting us, the community, know what do you feel about the improvements in terms of recording quality and so on, because they are real and they are very welcomed, especially for people that are streaming, because people that are streaming on YouTube, they can use AV1, they can use HEVC, which is H.265, and most of all, they can use higher video bit rates. I streamed a lot of times at 4K, like 40, 60, 70 Mbps, and it's completely fine, but as soon as you go to Twitch, they kind of lock you to 1080p 6 Mbps or something like that, which is ridiculous by 2025. But well, still in that case scenario, RDNA4 will deliver you a way better streaming quality compared to the previous one that we had with RDNA3, which is great. Again, 1080p, 8 Mbps or 6 Mbps, the quality was definitely improved. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video guys. Cheers.